How's it going, everyone? So today we have a story that just breaks my little heart. We have this Echo SRM 225 here that will run, but as soon as it touches grass, it will just bog down and die. And I was hoping it'd be something easy, and then I noticed this. I don't know how well that's coming through, or how many people will catch it, but it has little to no compression. So we usually have two common culprits for this. One, blown motor, scraped up piston rings doing damage, scrapes, scratches, junk, all kinds of nonsense. Or two, hopefully we just have a stuck piston ring and it's allowing all the compression to just being relieved. So I don't know what's happening between the two. The quick and easy way of figuring this out is going to be to remove this cover, and we're going to take off the muffler and take a look at the piston before we disassemble anything. So I took a screw out of here as well as one in the front. Let's see if that's all we have to do. I think taking the spark plug boot off might be a good idea. This thing is really on there too. Let's take that off. There we go. Okay, everything seems to be fine with that. Not too often I see steals here. Should be a thing to remember when people start buying equipment. Anyway, so, and I looked at the fuel, it has oil. So it's not immediately screaming to me bad fuel problems. However, it is a tad on the blue side. So that could be a good news. Oh, it is a little crusty in there too. That's also potentially good news. Apparently that's not the right size. Or is it? Oh, it is. It may just be extra stuck. Maybe we'll grab one that's a little bit bigger and see if that helps at all. I don't know if that one will be much different, but let's find out. Actually, I think that was the same size. But that one was, the tip was broken a little bit, so it kind of goes in a little bit farther. The reason why that's kind of good news with a lot of junk on the muffler is that that potentially means that it was burning uber rich. Now, just to be on the safe side, let's see. Still has little to no compression, so I'm going to take a look. It's going to be really hard to show you on camera, but I'll see what I can do. I took a look in there, and the piston itself seems pretty decent. So we're going to continue forward. Story behind this is the owner doesn't really want to buy a new one. Where'd that go? Probably somewhere annoying. Anyway, I shouldn't say he doesn't want to buy a new one. He doesn't want to repair this one if it's going to be too expensive, because these really are not that bad. So if need be, he'll just buy a new one. The beautiful part is, I think these don't have all that many screws holding this in. I think it's just two. And they're easy access too. If only a different company that uses orange would understand that. That would be nice. Thinking to myself, do I want to remove the carburetor? Yeah, I probably do. I'm going to just take off the carburetor now. And I guess the good thing about this is if it is broken and we take it apart, it is really hard to tell. It's kind of oily in there. I didn't see anything too much, but it is a pretty small port. Okay, I'm just going to leave everything dangling. So now, technically, here we go. I should just pull this up. I'm going to get a towel and kind of just wash this up. Look how cute and tiny this little piston is. For reference, this is the screw that took off the cover. Quite amazing. I'm just playing with you. So this is the side that usually would be the problem, and as you can tell, it's not scraped up whatsoever. So it is kind of interesting the fact that this ring is not stuck whatsoever. But what I can say though is it seems significantly undersized, like it's just been grinding away or something. I mean, maybe not. Maybe by me taking it apart, it freed it up. I don't really know. So I'm going to try to put the piston back into the cylinder. I'm going to put the screws in real quick, and then we'll give it a quick little pull, see if that even did anything. If not, we might look and see how much a set of piston rings and piston is. I also forgot to mention, I looked inside the piston or the cylinder, and the bore seems fine. Not concerned about anything. It's super clean in there. I mean, there's a little bit of carbon buildup in the top, but that's about it. So it's kind of back together. Just the screws are not very tight or anything, but I mean, it's better. Not a whole lot better though. But here's what I'm thinking. I'm going to look up the price for the piston rings and maybe the piston. Usually they come in a kit, and go from there. But in the meantime, I don't like leaving stuff unassembled, and especially when it's not that hard to put it back together. So I'm going to put it back together. While I do that, I'm going to bring it back and we'll see if this thing will start now. Let me kind of break something down real quick. So I have done a handful of Husqvarna, I don't know, however you want to say it. People get real upset about how I say that for whatever reason. Anyway, engines. And they don't have a two piston ring setup. They only have a one piston ring setup, just like this one. And I can say I've never had to do anything like this to an Echo before. But I have had to do something like this to a, well, shall not be named. And the good thing is at least there's parts available for them. But the problem with one piston ring is they're not as reliable, so I'm thinking that could be the problem here. Let's give this a try. It's on choke. I primed it a handful of times. Everything should be good to go. Still not feeling all that great, but let's see what happens. It's on. Full throttle. Oh, that's a big B. Do you see that? Yeah. Anyway, it's not feeling too great there. So what we're going to do is this. It's been a pleasure to work on this machine, and what we should do is we should take the cylinder back off, measure it, and go from there. However, I don't think I'm going to be doing that. I think what What I'm going to do is I'm just going to look up the parts and see what the owner wants to do. Because right now, it's just not going to work. Maybe a little bit. That just sounds funny. Yeah, it's not happy, let's just say that. So I might tinker with it and see if there's anything that can be done with the carburetor, but I don't think that's the problem, to be honest. I think it's the rings. So my one concern is this: you buy a pair of rings and the bore has been damaged, except it didn't look like it was, but it could be so worn that even new rings aren't going to work. That's why you need to measure it. Now, I'm sure if I looked long enough, I could find more specific, but every time I look for references on what it should be, I find multiple versions. And some of you find on Reddit, some of you find different websites, some of them, it's all over the place. So I'm going to look and see how much rings are, and we'll be back. Little update. So not going to matter to you, but I was able to find a piston ring. It's Echo, A as in Apple, 101000090. And I think this is the same ring that they use to repair Mantis rototillers. I could be wrong with that one, but it seems very familiar to me. Anyway, point being, it's about 15 bucks. And the only problem is it's going to take over a week to get here, which makes me really glad that we put it back together. So it's going to be a while for me, but a very short time for you. And it's been a few days. Actually, it's been quite longer. But we now have our piston ring. Piston ring was like 15 bucks, if I remember correctly. Maybe a little bit different in price. Not all that much. We're just removing that so we can get a little more working room here. But we need to remove the cover. Which, you know what? Here's a side note. Side note time. So we're going to do this while we're taking the machine apart. So I don't remember. I want you to leave a comment if this happens to you often, but I don't remember where exactly it came from. I want to say it said somewhere in Minnesota. I could be wrong though. But the point of this is the part originally was mailed to me, departured wherever it's supposed to, and then without giving away too much information where I live right outside Portland, Oregon. Very close. I'm in between Salem and Portland, so I live in a weird area. Now, one second, there's a car coming. I should rephrase. There was a diesel coming, and they're not known for their quietness. Anyway, point being, I live in a fairly rural area. I say that because of this. I'm physically closer to a town that's really small, but it's a walking distance from my house. However, my zip code is not the same as that one. However, I live on the north side of a county, so the city that I'm closer to physically is in the same county that I'm in. However, the city that my address says, I'm literally like feet away from the county line. So the city that my address says it is in a different county. Now, right next to me, going west, there is yet another small town that is also in the county that my address is supposed to be located in. Hopefully this is all making sense. However, we need to know that for this reason. I got the package. I think, like I said, it came from Minnesota. It came to Portland, Oregon eventually. Usually when that happens, it's fine. It will do one of two things. One, it will go to Portland, then it will go directly to the local department or local mail office that will deliver my mail. Or it will go to Salem, Oregon, which is south of me, but also south of Portland. So I am north of Salem, but south of Portland. I'm in between. So depending on where it goes, it might take an extra day. That's not necessarily too much of a problem. Oh, you take off this cable. Problem comes in is the package came to Portland, then went to Salem, then went back to Portland, and then went back to Salem, then went to Seattle. Then from Seattle, which if you're unaware of geography of where that is, Seattle is in Washington, which is north of me. Seattle is about a 2.5 hour drive from me. So it's a drive. Went from Seattle back to Portland, back to Salem, back to the town that is next to me, but not the one that will deliver the mail, but is also in the same county that my address is in. Then it gets sent back to Portland for it to then go to the same day to the postal office that would be delivering my mail. It ricocheted back and forth for like 4 days. It was ridiculous. If you work for the Postal Service, can you please let me know why that happens? It's because it's kind of getting aggravating. It happens quite often. Anyway, point being, now we have story time. Let's go back to normal. Excuse me, that was side note time. Let's take this off. Okay. So, two things. One, I don't know when my microphone died in the previous video. So, yeah. If I didn't say this, just put the piston ring in, you probably saw that. And got everything installed. Also, full disclosure, when I was putting the coil back on, I set the gap to 10,000ths of an inch. I accidentally didn't put one of the bolts on, so, tighten them. So if this is a second attempt, I had to retighten and re-gap it. So hopefully the sound isn't too bad, and yeah, let's give it a try. It might be flooded. Okay, well, there you have it. Just need a new piston ring. It is A101-000860, or it could be A101-000090. Either one. But there we go. Brand new piston ring, runs like a champ. Hopefully the sound isn't too bad in the ending, but I did want to show you that it is good to go. I don't know if you heard it because, yet again, the sound, but the ring on this one was significantly worn. I don't know why, but it was. So, new piston ring solved all our problems. I'm going to go ahead and leave you at that. Follow me on Instagram at SmallEngine101. If like you see, keep watching, subscribe. If this helped you out, leave a thumbs up. It definitely helps me out. I'll catch you in the next one. You have a good night.